My name is Fernando. As y'all know, I'm Mad Beatz, the generation right now. I'm a snare drummer. It's going well right now. I feel like we're doing a lot of things and it's going great. We all sound good.
Why do you want to teach?
I feel like kids don't really like have like somewhere to go or like things to do because they're young. They don't really know what to do. They don't have a life yet like built. I feel like drumming is like a way for them to like find out like what else they could be doing besides being at home on their phone. And like, help them like open their minds and like be kind of fun.
My name is CeeLo. I knew Mel since middle school. Went to Kensington, learned there from Mel. Then after that, joined the Mad Beatz Drumline when it first started in like 2013. After that, I think I went to teaching that string theory, right? I think it was with Marcus. Me and started string theory. We both was teaching like high school. They were like middle high school kids, right?
Yeah.
It was actually kind of fun doing it. I liked it back then. Like it was pretty cool. I get to teach them. I like bonding with the kids. They were kind of cool. Like I always think about it, so that's why I decided to come back.
I'm Dwight, aka Mr. Carter. I was a teacher for like 6 years. It's also how I met Mel. He brought a program through the Man Center to Global Leadership Academy, which was a school I just left last year. We came together, and then I continued with the Man program. So now I have an auto body shop, so I'm not teaching. But the dope thing about this is that I still get to get, like my teaching fix, because I still do love teaching. And then this gives me that, a teaching fix as well as my love for drumming. So it's kind of like the best of both worlds for me.
Hello everyone, I'm Greg. I am a professional battle and tour DJ. I want to keep teaching because I was full-blown drumming my entire life, from kid to high school, and it's been my entire life to the point where I went to Girard Academic Music Program to literally like drum. So the connection between DJing and drumming is so close that I was like, when I teach drumming to the students and then I teach DJing to my students, it's a hand-in-hand thing for me. So
my name is Marcus. I have been drumming since freshman year. After high school, I did the Mad Beatz thing for a little bit. Went to string theory with CeeLo. So like currently I do like turnaround business management. So like I get sent to like stores that are like kind of like failing, so I can kind of help them turn that around. Drumming's always kind of been like something that like helped structured me as like a human being, right? Mel's leadership and stuff like that kind of like formed me as a person. So like that's kind of like why when I get back into teaching, it's like give that lead for kids going into like their future, help them like set themselves up for success.
Here, I stopped teaching kind of around when COVID started. I was also at string theory. So, yeah. I am a musician. I'm an artist. I'm working on building my own fashion brand, and I love teaching because I feel like understanding children is really key to understanding like human behavior. And like the more I learn about interacting with them, the more I learn about myself. And teaching is a good way for me to musical expression. So.
What are 3 rules that are easy to remember and short that will establish a culture of respect for each other?
respect yourself, respect your peers.
So there you go. So a big part of the communication issues are going to be kids just fighting with each other and getting at each other throughout the class. That's going to create distractions.
Like if somebody's over here and they're going back and forth with each other, they're probably not listening to either you who are talking or somebody who you put on the spot to answer a question. I feel like the idea of just having one voice and making sure you're maintaining that one voice can be helpful.
Because when we come in, we usually give them 5 minutes to talk. I kind of got them involved. Who better, Lil Durk or G Herbo? Oh, Lil Durk, blah, blah, blah. Hold up, let them talk first. If the class can't handle letting him talk or her talk, we can't do it. So now you're teaching them to, all right, let me sit back, relax, and think about what I want to say before I just blurt it out. You just got to talk about the stuff that they want to talk about, and trust me, they'll give you the attention that you're seeking.
I feel like one thing that, was successful, a couple schools, matter of fact, it was when I got the GLA. Like, we made a mission statement for our class.
Oh, that's really cool.
The one that you made as a teacher, like, what do you see for your class? But then there's also the mission statement that your class has in general. And we would, as soon as we come in, stand behind your chair, say that. So, they have it memorized. They can, after, a couple weeks or whatever, they have it memorized, so they know what it is. We say it together to prove that we have one voice. And then we get started on whatever, subject or topic we're talking about for the day.
So what would a third rule be that would inspire a collective vision, something that would remind that kids can remember, that would remind them of why they're doing it together and the importance of respecting each other to get to play together.
Be a part of the hive.
B-E-E-E,
I like that.
a part of the hive.
Yeah.
I'm with it.
That's awesome. Great job. What is a skills-based drumline, right? Like, what are skills? Like, name a skill that you learn in drumline.
How to hold a stick.
How to hold the stick. That's a skill. All right. So, you know, some drum teachers just say, pick up the stick and just hit the drum. And they don't tell you how to hold the stick or why this does what it does or what it does. Some people just consider that everybody else is just going to figure it out. Never ever take that mental approach as a teacher. You always have to explain exactly what you want out of every single skill. And you have to do it in a way that defines everything that you want to be a part of the performance later. So a skill is holding the grip, holding the stick a specific way. And we see that every drummer in a skills-based drumline program will play with the same technique. That means if you talk to any kid in the line and you say, make a fulcrum, they'll all do that. You know what I mean? They will know what the word is and they'll be able to show you what it is. So for every skill, there's a word or a set of words that names what the skill is, and then there's an application, which is how they show you what it is or demonstrate that for you. When you define things with the same technique and with the same approach, you're gonna get clarity.
I get what you're saying when you have every drummer following the same exact form and way that they're starting, because you even told me that, like when you have them play in that pizza position, they're not going here, they're here. So when now you have them doing this, of course somebody's going to be off because now you're delaying yourself from the form, you know?
To put ourselves in a beginner's mind, you should only give them as much information as they need to be able to do what you want them to do. All right. So it's, of course we could say, well, a great legato stroke has flexibility in the fingers. It has thumb contact, but not too much thumb contact. And it's don't squeeze too much, but only just enough. And then you want to make sure your wrist is moving too, but then also bend your elbow and make sure your shoulders are relaxed. That's all great information. That's a level 4 way to describe a legato stroke. For a beginner, it's put your finger on your wrist and do this. Make sure that when you teach very beginners, you only give them at most 2 things to think about. So it's either one or the other. We want to keep everything on the same theme of a hinge. So you know that the fulcrum is a hinge within the grip. The wrist is a hinge between the hand and the arm, and the elbow is a hinge between the forearm and the upper arm. So those are the 3 hinges or joints or centers of rotation or movement in your arm that every drummer uses. All right. And so we always train the first point of contact to the stick, which is the fulcrum, and then the wrist. The elbow, we don't talk about until approaching level 2 skills. It's not necessary for your kids to be able to play everything at level 1. So just make sure that we all understand that how to identify the difference. So can you guys play only from your elbow for a minute? Can you guys play legatos only from your elbow? That's great. Look at that. And so that's the elbow. Now point to CeeLo's elbow. So y'all see that? Now point to the wrist. Now can y'all play from the wrist only? When you play from the wrist, it's going to draw an arc back to 90 degrees. When you play from the elbow, it's going to draw a straight line up and down. So that's really important. That's going to tell you, looking down the line, watching the tips of the sticks, who's using what. Let's talk about some look-fors. Look-fors are, classroom teacher?
What you want to see from your class, from your students.
Yeah. So what you could do during this of great look for is the feet. A lot of people would say hands, right? Because that's the objective on the screen.
Right.
But what we're really looking for is whether the feet stay steady. So just notice as you add that clap, are your feet staying steady? What about this rhythm provides checkpoints for their feet?
Falls right on your feet.
What does?
If it's in between.
The first beat.
The first beat falls on your feet as well as what else?
The third.
Yeah, the third note. So this is actually an easier rhythm for some kids to coordinate than the one before it, because in this one, it's kind of open-ended, right?
Yeah.
We're just clapping twice and then leaving the next beat for your foot. And make a big deal out of that song. You know what I mean? This is what we know as a fast tempo for level 1 players, which is 120 beats per minute. Alright?
On Mad Beatz.
So now, watch what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start changing it up on them. I'm gonna make them go fast and then go slow so they can experience fast or slow. And once again, the look fors are the beat. There you go. Notice how y'all set it right on the beat together. Y'all are drumline.
No, it's not.
What's a subdivision?
Very nice.
It's a breakdown.
It's a breakdown. Great word for it. What else? You said?
Cut it in half.
That's exactly right. A subdivision is when you cut something in half. Okay, so a subdivision of a half a cake is 2/4 of a cake. All right. So what we're gonna do right now, I want everybody just to tap your foot. And I want you to listen to when the guitar comes in.
Here coming on the offbeat.
Bum, 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 bum. That always happens at the beginning of the what? The beat or the bar? Bum, 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 bum. You can hear it in the bass now. Bum, 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 bum. Every melody in this case comes in on the beginning of every beat, so this is not the best song to teach the beginning of a bar. So the melody is starting on every beat. It's not necessarily starting at the beginning of every bar. Okay, however here, this is a way to teach a bar, because it's starting on 1. The beat is in your
Feet.
Why is that memorable?
Because it rhymes.
Yes, rhymes and alliteration, right? So the beat, hear the beat, move your feet. Hear the beat, move your feet. Great way for kids to remember that, right? The bar happens on every what beat?
First of the beat.
First beat. All right. The first subdivision of the quarter note is the 8th note. And how can we tell that the 8th notes are subdivisions of the beat?
2 even notes make a quarter note. Well, not make a beat.
Yep. There's 2 8th notes per beat, or we could say that the 8th notes are going how many times as fast as the beat? Twice as fast. So we could take a look at that first bar, and we could say the counts are.
1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and rest.
There you go. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and tells me that there's 2 8th notes on beat 1, 2 8th notes on beat 2, 2 on beat 3, and 2 on beat 4. And the and is the note that's in between the beat because it's going twice as fast as the beat. All right.
Back to quarters. Switch it up.
Clap 8th notes. Go down, y'all. Back and hear the beat. Hear the beat.
Move your feet.
Here we go. Hear the beat.
Move your feet.
Here we go. Hear the beat.
Move your feet.
Hear the beat. On the side. Quarter notes. Let's go. Here we go now.
1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and
Everybody play 8th notes. Now back
2 and 3 and 4 and.
As soon as we learned the counts, as looking at the paper, we looked at how to count quarter notes versus eighth notes. We introduced the counts first. It was hear the beat, move your feet, hear the beat, move your feet, and then we say it, and then we did it. All right, so this is the process that you use to teach music at any level. If I wanted to teach tap 5-stroke rolls to somebody at level 3, I would say I'm saying the 5-stroke roll. If I were to play it, right? So I'm saying what I'm playing. And it always starts with looking at the pattern and learning the counts first. So I would literally, if I was trying to teach somebody tap 5-stroke rolls, I would have them label the single notes as a dut and the diddles as a digga, right? To learn how to count it. And then I would ask them to hear the beat, move their feet, so they understand how the tap 5-stroke rolls are played. Because me saying this could be 2 different tempos. It could either be 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a, which is triplet tempo, 2 and a 3 and a, or it could be which is in 4/4 time with 16th notes. All right, so you got to understand that this process applies at all levels.